Hello, David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Well, we are here as promised to talk about the Aston Martin Part 2. So I've had this for a few weeks now, and yeah, it has not disappointed at all. As a matter of fact, it's exceeded my expectations. But what we thought we would do in this vlog is take you for a ride. I mean, that's the part of this. It's not just looking or receiving the car like the last time. It's not just the anticipation or the dream behind it. We've been through that part of the journey. What is it like to use this sometimes as a daily commuter, sometimes as a weekend fun car, where we're going to put some tricks up its sleeves as well, and we're going to start right now. So why don't you come with me? Come on. Come on. So here it is again. Reminder, 2006 Vantage V8. It's amazing. By the way, themed for this today, I had to wear a Casino Royale top. I know I'm wearing my Spectre watch, but I've got driving shoes. Not exactly, you know, the outfit of Bond, but it's a lot more comfortable. And by the way, because I'm just a total geek, I of course had to put a little accoutrement. That's the DB10, not quite the DB9 keychain that you see in Casino Royale. But 2006, I had to do a little homage. Let's go back here though. So everybody asks me one question with this car. They ask, what is your favorite part about the car? And I tell them the noise. The noise is amazing. That roar, that very Casino Royale roar that we all heard with the Aston Martin in Casino Royale when he takes off to find Vesper. So we're going to make this roar a little bit more of a roar, and this is a little helpful hint that people have talked about. So we're going to open the trunk here. Okay, now check this out. If you come into here, I'm going to show you something. Over here we have where the gearbox is, okay, and I'm going to show you how simple this is. So I'll put my keys down here, and we're going to open this up, and there is your gearbox. Now this is the infamous, or now famous, Fuse 22. By the way, I have a very simple Leatherman. This is not difficult to do, but what you do is you push down on the top of the gearbox, and I'm actually doing this with one hand, and I know it's hard to see, but all the way to the right here is what's called Fuse 22. Now mine is marked as Fuse 20. Not important. Trust me, it's the right one. So I'm going to open my Leatherman, and I'm going to pull this fuse. Now I'll tell you what this fuse does. The fuse actually keeps valves closed. So this way you get a roar, but you only get a roar at high RPMs. If I pull Fuse 22, or 20 in this case, out, those valves are not going to activate. So you're going to hear that symphony, that roar, all the time. So what I'm going to do is put the fuse box back on. And yes, folks, it literally is as easy as it looks. Snap it into place. Now, obviously, I put that into place. I'm going to, you can pull out for a second. I'm going to keep this Fuse 22 because I don't want to lose it. I'll put the Leatherman away for now. And if you could just stand right there, I'm going to start the car, and you're going to hear the engine note that you would hear at the higher RPMs. Don't go too far away, because I want you to stand close to the car. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. You hear that amazing engine note, but let's hear what it sounds like driving. So we're going to put the glasses on, and we're going to take this thing for a spin. So here we go. Really good to take the brake off first though. So we're in a parking lot right now. I'm not going to like really open her up like crazy, but I'm going to talk about the experience a little bit of driving this. I haven't driven it every single day, but I've driven it a decent amount. And by the way, there's very few times that you need to get this out of first and second, especially when you're driving it this slow. But let me talk about one aspect. First of all, now that Fuse 22 is taken out, a part of this is to hear the roar. I haven't played the radio or soundtracks that much because I want to hear this thing go. It's part of the fun. It's part of the magic of owning an Aston Martin is the sound effects. It's the surround sound. It's the things that it brings you to. But I've got to tell you a very interesting thing about this car, especially because right now we're going a little bit slow. When I come to a stop sign like this, like I'm here now, What I've noticed, and it's fascinating, is whenever the last 10 years I've driven my Porsche, people will look at the car. It looks like a race car. It looks like a Hot Wheels or a Matchbox car. Kids, people of all genders, they look at the car. This thing, it's invisible. I love it. I mean, I don't need people to stare at the car, but I think it's a mix of they don't know what it is, all the way through if they're looking through the rear view mirror, it looks like a Ford, you know, maybe just a basic Ford to the untrained eye because of the grille. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Now, I've had a couple people at a gas station and even roll down their window and say, hey, what is that? Is that a Bentley? That might be because of the Aston Martin emblem. But it's been fascinating that I don't get a lot of stares. And guess what, folks? That's okay, because this is for me. By the way, I'm talking louder because the valves are opening up. You can start to really hear the sound. And the sound is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm only going 47 miles per hour. You know, I'm not going that fast. And actually, if I lower it to second gear, you get that kick. And the poor camera person goes flying back. But that's okay, because we really want to take a look at what this thing can do. Let's give you a little bit of a perspective though. All right, so we're going down the winding roads of Pennsylvania, and this will give you a little bit of a perspective, almost a driver's perspective of what we're doing here. Got the steering wheel, which by the way, beautiful designed wrapped leather. Most of the times I'm wearing driving gloves, but I'm going to be touching a lot of things in this vlog. So, but you can see when we go around a corner, you can actually do a little bit of a speed up, almost like you would not just a touring car, but a race car as well. What I love about that aspect is the handling. I thought this was going to handle not as well as the Porsche going around corners. It's right there. The Aston Martin has been described as laying like a playing card on the road. It lays very flat. So here we go, going down a straight. And by the way, folks, that was second gear, just to give you an idea. It's insane. This beast wants to go. It wants to fly. By the way, if you pan down here for a moment, everything is very well appointed. My hand is within reach of everything that I need, whether it's the sound itself, whether it's air conditioning. It's so well appointed and so close. When I first saw this dash, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it looks like an airplane. How am I going to figure out? One ride and I figured out everything pretty intuitively, and then the book did the rest. So let's really go and take this out. So we've got to talk about the Bond aspect here, of course. I mean, come on, this is the Bond experience. I'm driving my dream car. Biggest thrill that I have, besides sitting in the car and driving it, of course, is when I am, a little bit of a kick there, I go out to the parking lot. So at the end of the day, I'm done with work, or, you know, God forbid I take this to a shopping mall, and I go out to the parking lot. I absolutely get that Casino Royale moment when Bond gets the envelope from M, he gets the Aston Martin keys, and he goes out to the parking lot. That first time the entire audience sees him walk up to the back of the Aston Martin, and there's this like gasp from the audience. I have that all the time. I walk up in the parking lot of where I work, and I see this thing sitting for me, and I've told my wife many, many times, it has been so surreal for the first week or two. It was very strange. One day, I'm at a stop sign here, so here we go. Giddy. The first week, it was very surreal. I'm driving somebody else's car. I couldn't convince myself that I owned this. And then suddenly I was driving home one day, and it hit me. This is my Aston Martin. I don't have to give it back. I'm not renting it. I'm not borrowing it. I'm not doing it for a vlog. This is my forever car. And, you know, minor emotional moment, good emotional. And then I've just been very relaxed with it ever since. This thing is not going to be a garage queen. I'm not going to drive it every day. I'm keeping the Porsche to kind of alternate on and off, but it's going to be driven a lot, and it's got to be. Now we're going to go around a corner, here comes a corner. I'm going to talk about the G's. So I am sitting right now, I just took that corner at about 50. Didn't feel it. One of the reasons is I'm sitting in a thorax seat. Now, if the camera person, sorry to do this to you, can look down at my seat a little bit here. Right here? Yep. Yeah, perfect. That thorax keeps you in. It keeps you hugged to your seat, so you are not flying into your seat when you take a corner like I just did. It really straps you in really nicely, and of course the harness belt keeps you safe and sound. So, you know, it's hysterical how they say that there's a back seat to this. It's more of a shelf. You could put an attaché case back there, maybe a lunch. No, you would not put lunch back there. But it is very small. Look, this is a two-seater. It's a touring vehicle. It's a grand touring vehicle. It's a supercar. So this is as good as you're going to get for a back seat. If you want a back seat, there's other larger Aston Martins that you can get. Too much fun. Holy cow, too much fun. So a couple interesting things, little nuances that I've discovered even just in a few weeks is over here, remember in Die Another Day when the machine guns came up out of here, when Brosnan's shooting, these things actually serve a purpose. They're not just pretty. When I drive, I can feel it right now, this is so hot. You're gonna hear the barking of our next door neighbor's dog pretty soon. There is like a haze. It's almost like in the desert, this kind of like heat haze that goes over the car, but that's perfectly normal. What's amazing about this is that this is very purposeful. Although it looks beastie and it looks like a huge well for a huge well purpose, it actually means that this thing is starting to cool off. And it does that while it's driving. So listen, I know that this has been part 2. It's a quick little, this is the experience of driving it. Again, it's exceeded all my expectations. Wonderful, amazing things. There's some great people out there that have been giving me little helpful hints, and that's going to be part 3. So part 3 is going to be about, there's the dogs I promised you. Part 3 is going to be about actually little things that we can do to make this driving experience even more incredible. And it's going to be about who are the people out there that are coming up with all these amazing tricks up their sleeves. Anyway, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We will see you very soon. I'm going to go back out driving and get away from this dog. Oh, hey, you're still here. I didn't even know. You listen, while you're here, if you want, so I would actually go to this button right here and click on it, because then you actually subscribe to our vlogs. It's amazing. You get to see all the upcoming stuff first. You get notifications. It screams at you while you're at work. It's absolutely amazing. Just click on this button, hit subscribe. Just move your cursor, move.